Welcome to Advice from a CEO. I'm Bill. I've been a CEO, partner, president, chief operating officer, managing partner for the last 15 years. And over the course of the last 15 years, I've owned a business. And the reason why I'm making these videos is because I've seen a lot of content online that leads me to believe these individuals have never owned a business, just listening to them talk. The last business I was involved in, we did 9 figures annually. I had 421 people stateside. I had additional folks offshore. And I'm producing these videos to hopefully help you. One of the topics that came up was project management. And I kind of giggled at this because the title is Six Habits of Effective Project Management. So, current company that I'm a president of, I have essentially 2 individuals that fill this role. And the 6 habits, they say, are be proactive, find harmony, manage your time, listen before you respond, keep learning, action plan checking. Holy shit. I'm not sure if these people ever have managed a project. So let me tell you, project managers I've paid $100,000 to $150,000 to annually for their salaries. And what a really good project manager is somebody that communicates constantly, that believes it's on them, it's up to them. They're not waiting for somebody else, they're not waiting for the status meeting, they're absolutely continuously checking in and being proactive in everything they do. If you just did those 2 things, you would crush it. I guarantee you probably make $200,000 as a project manager if you just did those 2 things. Obviously, to be a really good project manager, you're going to get the stakeholders involved. Who are the true decision makers of the project itself? You're going to set up a Gantt chart. I'll have my editor here put up a Gantt chart, maybe there, who knows. And you're going to want to put up a Gantt chart of how each thing's going to happen at what point in time. And then you as a project manager is to make sure that you identify all road blocks. So I call it scenario planning. Another way to do this is just assuming what assumptions are you making. It's as simple as that. And then adjusting for those assumptions. Maybe even testing them if you want to be proactive. If I've made this assumption, as an example, I've made an assumption, I don't know, the technology engineers are going to work the weekend on the day of the install to make sure everything goes smoothly. Well, if you haven't talked to them, that certainly is an assumption. Or if you want to go kind of far out, on the day of the install, there'll be no weather disturbances. I mean, you can take these assumptions as far and as wide as you go. As you take assumptions, I like to put it into what's called a risk matrix. And what a risk matrix is, using that weather disturbance as a possible issue that you're going to have to deal with, is, it doesn't matter. One would be likelihood. So think of an X and Y axis. One side would be likelihood, and the other side would be impact. So a weather disturbance, let's say you're doing it in the middle of July, and you're not, well, I guess it's pretty rare to have a hurricane in July. I guess you'll have to wait till August for those. I believe that's when hurricane season starts. But let's say you're up in the Midwest. Well, there aren't hurricanes up here, there are tornadoes. So the likelihood, and then you can look to say when's the last time there's been a tornado. And so in the likelihood, it'd probably be, if 0 is completely unlikely and 10 is absolutely this is going to happen, you're probably like a 1. And then on the impact scale, of low impact to high impact, well, likelihood, it's very rare that that could happen. But if it did happen, that's going to be a high impact. And so as you look at all of your assumptions, just put it into a risk matrix and understand how much effort you should throw at it. Obviously, everything that's high in likelihood of occurring, that's what you want to go after first, especially that's high likelihood that this is going to occur. And if it does occur, it's going to be a high impact. Those are absolutely where you start as a project manager. And then the whole thing is just communicating. It's so funny how life in business is the same as life outside of business. It's just daily actions, which is over communicating. You literally cannot over communicate. You can't, because people don't hear you. There's this old saying of, after you've said it 7 times, people are just starting to hear you. So I continuously repeat myself, which might be annoying to some people. There's this old story that I heard about this preacher that got up in church and gave this wonderful, I'll call it a homily, gave this wonderful example out to the congregation. And everybody enjoyed it. And then the next week, he came back and gave the exact same one. And then the next week, he came back and gave the next same one. And then the next week, he came back and said the exact same one. And when he was walking out, one of the church elders grabbed him and said, "Preacher, I don't know if you know this, but you've been giving the same homily every single week." And the preacher looked at him and said, "I'm so glad you noticed. I'm waiting for all of you to actually start doing it before I stop." I think I screwed up that story, but I think you grabbed the point of it, which is, as a project manager, you continuously need to make sure everybody's on the same page. This is when you'll crush as a project manager, if you never hear the words, "I didn't know that." I hope all of you stay safe, be well, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.